Hey, Jen, welcome back to the Kristan Hawkins Show. Planned Parenthood is having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad year. And I couldn't be more happier. Couldn't have happened to a better organization. From admitting that chemical abortion pill pushing is putting women in danger, to killing a young mother along with her child, to being called out by the New York Times of all outlets, things are not going well for the abortion Goliath. So I'm going to take you with me through a walkthrough of what's going on with Planned Parenthood. Buckle up, here we go. First, I'm going to talk about the tragic story of 18-year-old Lexi. Lexi went to Planned Parenthood for an abortion one day in February and never came home alive. She was 22 weeks pregnant, which means she could have given birth and her baby may have lived. She went to a Planned Parenthood for a late-term abortion. You remember that thing that everyone tells you that doesn't happen? Yeah, it totally does. Lexi's dangerous abortion procedure led to what is called a, quote, amniotic fluid embolism. This is a known and deadly complication for late-term abortions. This is why we always say late-term abortions are more risky than first trimester abortions. Every week you wait to have an abortion actually puts your life as a mother more at risk. At a testimony before a Colorado Health and Human Services hearing, it became clear that Planned Parenthood literally delayed getting Lexi emergency health care, potentially giving her no chance of survival. The former abortionist named Dr. Kathleen Wheeler testified at the hearing, quote, typically the amniotic fluid embolism, the woman is just out of the blue and has incredible anxiety. She may say, I feel like I'm dying, become incredibly short of breath, become immediately hypoxic and low oxygen. Her blood pressure may drop out, and it is a true emergency. Half the women will die within an hour in that situation. If this happens to a woman who's at a hospital, doctors at a hospital has the equipment and the medication on hand to start working to save the woman's life. But Lexi did not stand a chance because her emergency started at an abortion facility, not a healthcare facility that was equipped to treat her. Making matters worse, Planned Parenthood seems to have delayed getting Lexi to the real hospital to get her to the care that could have saved her life. You see, Planned Parenthood they've been known for this. They have a callous habit of asking emergency vehicles not to use sirens and lights when they come to a Planned Parenthood to pick up their injured clients. According to Live Action News, one organization has obtained documentation of 911 calls that demonstrate how Planned Parenthood staff has severely injured women and then mishandled those in situations, putting women in increased danger. One of the key ways is that it denies women the care they need by requesting emergency responders arrive at the facility without lights or signs to avoid alerting pro-life activists in the media. The request can cause delays in life-saving care, end quote. At the hearing in Colorado, a doctor who knows Lexi's family personally explained what happened at the hospital once she finally got there out of the Planned Parenthood. He said Lexi's grandparents could see the heroic efforts the doctors were doing to save her life, and he could see the deep concern on their faces that the situation is very dire. Her vitals were all over the place. The oxygen levels are horrible. After multiple doses of epi and 7 liters of blood, his granddaughter's heart rate and blood pressure dropped, and he saw his granddaughter's face. That was her end. Lexi's grandfather and grandparents were devastated over the loss of their grandchild and their great-grandchild that day. A couple points to know about the story. First, Planned Parenthood butchers children. I cannot emphasize this enough, how psychotic it is to expect Planned Parenthood to treat any patient well when they kill babies for money. Providing good medical care and killing babies for money simply don't go together. Can't practice vice virtuously. And no matter how many mothers Planned Parenthood kills, our political leaders are often too willing to wake up and acknowledge this. There is no scenario where Planned Parenthood can be simply reformed and continue to be funded by our tax dollars. Both logic and justice demands that Planned Parenthood be debarred, defunded of our taxpayer dollars, shut down, and ultimately prosecuted for their crimes against humanity. We will never, ever see justice for the millions of babies Planned Parenthood legally slaughtered over the last half century in America. But we can and should demand consequences for the countless instances of Medicaid fraud and abuse. In fact, in Texas, they actually openly admitted they were double billing Texas Medicaid for years. The illegal sale and trafficking of fetal human remains across the country, which we got them on tape admitting. Now they say, well, we don't sell them. We just get patents for giving them to researchers. So then we can sell those patents for future monies. That's how they're getting around the crimes. They're still doing it, by the way. Illegally obtaining tens of millions in federal small business loans during COVID's Paycheck Protection Program. You weren't allowed to apply for the small business loans if you had you belonged to a corporation industry that made over a certain amount of money. Yet they got over $80 million and never paid it back. Aiding and abetting sex traffickers and abusers by providing or referring for illegal abortions of minors and refusing to report known abuse for decades. Lots of video footage on that. These allegations are all well documented, known by our political leaders, and cry out for justice. Next on Planned Parenthood's list of reasons to hate in 2025, a horrifying story out of Pennsylvania has forced the abortion Goliath to admit, that maybe unregulated mail-order chemical abortion pills aren't a real great idea. And Students for Life Action is already working to fix that problem. More on that in a minute. First, this is what happened. In May 2024, a mother reportedly took chemical abortion pills ordered online after being turned away at a Planned Parenthood facility for being too far along in her pregnancy with the abortion. She reportedly took the deadly pill cocktail and buried her dead child after the abortion in her yard. In March of this year, the tragedy was discovered. The local news affiliate reported, according to police, the witness told them that the suspect took the chemical abortion pills on May 9, 2024. The next day, texts between the two indicated it worked, saying, quote, "It just came out." Documents state that the witness also received pictures, including one showing what the baby looked like in a white trash bag. The remains were then recovered from the backyard of a home on Village Square Drive in East Donald Township on March 6, 2025. This story led Planned Parenthood to then publicly caution against buying abortion drugs online, which I think is ironic omission considering Planned Parenthood has supported the government changes led by the Biden administration that made the chemical abortion pill more accessible in the first place. But I would say Planned Parenthood is just trying to get the reins back on control, to control as much of the abortion market share as it can. Because in reality, having chemical abortion pills being shipped to women across the country what they don't touch means less money for them. This is when their profit drive and their ideology come into conflict. This is why for years Planned Parenthood opposed putting chemical abortion pills over the counter, because they wanted women to come into their facility because they would get the pills really cheap, like $2.50 a packet, and then sell them for $30 a packet, depending on their sliding scale on her income level. But then the abortion industry and the rest of the feminists ganged up on Planned Parenthood, and then Planned Parenthood was like, oh, okay, fine, we're for it, even though they meant they're losing money. This is why they've turned to the new cash cow, which is providing wrong sex hormones for gender-confused young people, which sterilize them. Anyway, I'll go back to the story. The medical director, which is ironic to say that in the first place, of Planned Parenthood Keystone, actually talked about this openly. She said, quote, "If you're accessing medication and you're not sure where it's coming from, it's maybe not regulated. You think? You don't know exactly what it is. That can definitely be a problem. Potential complications can be bleeding, infection, and those kinds of things. Again, they're very rare, but it's a potential concern." Thank you. This is what we've been saying this entire time. Ever since the Biden FDA dropped all of the REMS, the risk evaluation mitigation strategies on chemical abortion pills in December of 2021, this is what we've been saying. Where are these pills coming from? The FDA won't even investigate where these pills are coming from or investigate the facilities. And by the way, they're all violating the Federal Comstock Act, which says you can't mail abortion pills, in the mail. It's unbelievable. So now Planned Parenthood's blaming this whole tragic situation on the dangers of getting chemical abortion pills from who knows where, even though they totally supported this and were totally for the Biden administration. That's a total misdirect. Total misdirect. It's not as though you're buying your drugs from Planned Parenthood magically makes them safe. There's still chemical abortion pills that are going to kill your baby and could kill you. Chemical abortion pills are incredibly dangerous for women and kill children, no matter who you buy it from. That's the nature of a drug that was literally invented to kill humans. And oh, by the way, it was invented by a subsidiary of the company that created Zyklon B, the gas used for mass extermination of Jews in the Holocaust death camps. Yep, look that one up. Chemical abortion pills aren't a healing drug. It didn't come from a medical company with a clean record of healing. It literally came with the design by a company that kills people. It's unbelievable to kind of think that this is going to be safe. Unbelievable. To hell with the consequences, the FDA said. Literally, the Biden administration said access to these pills, no matter where they're coming from, even if they're coming from some rando in a basement in New York or from some rando in India saying they're shipping these pills, it doesn't matter because access to abortion trumps safety. Literally, the abortion industry argued that in the whole women's health case, what was it, 2013 in front of the Supreme Court, where they said that the law in Mississippi, which at the time said if you were an abortionist in the state, you had to have admitting privileges within so many miles of an abortion facility, because if a mother was experiencing complications like Lexi, that when the girl is admitted to the hospital, they wanted the hospital ER docs to be able to have records of the abortion to know what went wrong, what her medical history was. And the abortion lobby actually fought against that, went to the Supreme Court, won that case, and made the argument that access to abortion was more important than safety. And in these rural southern states, it was going to be impossible for get a hospital to give an abortionist admitting privileges and to be on staff at the hospital. And so that was essentially going to make abortion illegal, and we couldn't have that. That was literally their argument. To hell with the consequences. That is what they're doing. Physical complications of chemical abortions include profuse bleeding, blood clots, body shakes, nausea, diarrhea, uncontrollable sweating, fever, chills, and by the way, if you look on TikTok, feelings of I'm going to die. There have been thousands of adverse events reported, dozens of deaths. We know of 32, even though we don't have a national abortion reporting law, that's what we know. The other thing we haven't even gotten into is all the psychological effects, the crisis the moms experience when they give birth to a baby. What they'll say is, I saw an actual baby, and they're told to flush it down the toilet. The NBC affiliate I mentioned earlier, the media outlet, reported the text between the mother who killed her child and the friend, the witness. Here are some of the direct quotes. It just came out, and it's like a full baby, and it's still moving. This baby, because this woman took these pills too late in pregnancy, the chemical abortion pills didn't do their job fully and starve and kill the baby before the pills expelled the baby. The baby was still alive. More. We kept the baby. It's in a little box spelled Liytle, so she can't spell either. So we can bury it. The witness asked if the child cried. The mother responded, yeah, we both did when it moved. The mother also texted, it has fingernails and lips and a nose. This is what chemical abortion really does. The abortion industry has lied to women, telling them chemical abortion is nothing. It's like having a heavy period. That abortion wipes out nothing. It's just a clump of cells. Women constantly report online, on social media, that they had no idea when they took the pill that they were going to deal with the horrors of hemorrhaging, infection, and confronting the reality that a child whose tiny heart is beating visibly underneath the baby's skin, because remember, the skin's very translucent this age, will come out of them and be in their toilet bowl staring at them. But I am noticing that the establishment media is kind of starting to report that the abortion industry is, evil. And that's not good for Planned Parenthood. According to a recent deep dive in the New York Times, and I talked about this on a previous podcast, they've already exposed medical malpractice at Planned Parenthood, institutional decay, looming financial ruin with Planned Parenthood affiliates, how the affiliates are angry at National for using all their money in politics, not making sure sewage isn't coming up through their buildings, which was happening at one of the facilities in the New York Times article. I think all of this is a very important step towards Planned Parenthood's demise. Very important. Plus, we now have the fact that President Trump's HHS has said they're freezing grants, Title X grants, which Title X is supposed to be a federal grant program that pays for contraceptives, STD tests, maybe some STD treatment. They're freezing $120 million that was scheduled to go to Title X grant recipients. About $20 million of it was scheduled to go to Planned Parenthood in order to assess the DEI practices of organizations, which we all know Planned Parenthood's they're like the queens of DEI. I mean, literally in 2022, one of their own doctors went before, I believe it was a Senate committee on Capitol Hill, and said that men can have abortions and get pregnant, and admitted that. Yeah, that's DEI woke mind virus gone crazy. So it's a good step. It's freezing $20 million, but they still have $700 million that they're getting for taxpayer funds. We have a long way to go, but all of this is good. This is a good step. This is why, but what we saw in Pennsylvania is why what I talked about a couple weeks ago, we've got to pass anti-chemical abortion pill trafficking acts. Why we're trying to pass it in West Virginia, in Oklahoma, we tried in Kentucky, and some other states, but the GOP leadership blocked us because we have to stop the illegal flow of chemical abortion pills, whether they're coming from Planned Parenthood, a random midwife in her basement in New York City, a creeper in India. We got to stop these pills from illegally flowing into states that have already moved to protect women from abortions and protect babies from abortions and banned and prevented all abortions. Because that's the challenge here is even though you may live in a state like Idaho or Wyoming or West Virginia that has banned all abortion's still happening in your state because these predatory abortionists are shipping drugs into the state. This legislation is powerful because it's a civil legislation because it would allow a mother who's post-abortive to file a wrongful death lawsuit against any abortionists who've trafficked her those pills. It would serve as an actual real deterrent for pill trafficking because obviously our federal government hasn't been enforcing the Comstock Act, which already makes it a crime to ship chemical abortion pills. If found responsible, civilly, abortionists will face heavy fines and potentially jail time, criminal charges, if that's also included in the bill. This law is so needed, and I'm so excited that we're moving forward with it in the state of Oklahoma right now. Because the shield laws that Democrat blue states have passed saying that they are going to protect abortionists, they're going to shield them with their state governments, they're actually permitting and allowing abortionists to double down on mailing illegal chemical abortion pills. As I reported back in February, Louisiana has issued actual charges against a New York State abortionist who mailed chemical abortion pills to a grandmother who conspired with a grandmother to give the pills to her daughter to kill her grandbaby. Louisiana has filed charges against the abortionist. Immediately, Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, was like, I'm going to protect this abortionist. And we have other organizations like Massachusetts Medication Abortion Access Project, MAP. They're responding for what they say is a demand for remote care. They launched after the Dobbs decision and says that they're mailing nearly 500 patients a month chemical abortion pills to kill their baby. In the new year, they said that it's now grown to up to 3,000 prescriptions a month. So 3,000 babies a month they're killing. They said 80% of their patients live in Texas or states in the Southeast. Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi. See where I'm going with this? You think your state's safe. It's not. This is why every single red, conservative, pro-life state needs to pass an anti-chemical abortion pill trafficking act written by Students for Life Action. Contact us anytime. We'll give you the legislation draft for your own use to pass these bills immediately because they're defying pro-life state laws. Abortionists in blue states, along with Democrats in power in those states, are purposely violating the laws of other states. This is why we also need a federal law, we already have one, the Comstock Act, but probably need a new one, which prohibits interstate abortion drug trafficking. We got to get this done, guys. It's like baseline, because until we do that, we're not going to say, oh, I'm in Texas, an abortion-free state, because abortions are still happening here. All right, one more piece of news about how I'm telling you Planned Parenthood's having a bad year. At least 6 Planned Parenthood clinics have reported that they're closing. Turns out Planned Parenthood's defiant slogan, "Our doors stay open," is just another one of their long list of lies. We're barely out of March, and Planned Parenthood has already announced the closure of at least 6 of their abortion facilities and clinics nationwide. 4 Planned Parenthood health centers, this is what's really interesting. This is happening in blue states. You always say, oh, care is being limited in red states, evil Republicans. Listen to the states. 4 of these centers are in Illinois, will close by the end of March. Englewood, Chicago, Decatur, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ottawa, and Bloomington. Planned Parenthood's only Manhattan location, which used to be named after Margaret Sanger until the Black Lives Matter movement, and then they got got smart and realized that everybody knows Margaret Sanger was a racist, so they changed the names. It wasn't the Margaret Sanger abortion, whatever, Planned Parenthood anymore. Anyway, they still had this location on Bleecker Street. It's like a historic location. Planned Parenthood is closing and selling its Manhattan location. And then also Mission Bay in San Diego, Democrat blue state, operated by Planned Parenthood, is also scheduled to close. These closures follow decades of Planned Parenthood working to consolidate. They've been trying to consolidate their clinics into what they call mega facilities. And that's because they know the small Planned Parenthood facilities that don't commit abortions, they always operate in a fiscal red. It's the mega and abortion facilities that operate in the black. And so when you have abortion facilities making money, they can cover the loss of the non-abortion facilities. We've known this for years. These clinics are now closing. Some of them are abortion clinics because of financial challenges. And honestly, it's because of the work you and I continue to do. CBS's, Chicago's PBS affiliate reported, quote, Planned Parenthood Illinois will be closing 4 health centers, including one in Chicago's Inglewood neighborhood, due to financial shortfall and, quote, an uncertain patient care landscape under the Donald Trump administration, the reproductive health care provider announced Wednesday. That sounds kind of crazy because their governor, J.B. Pritzker, is like an abortion zealot and is like so pro-abortion. He started a PAC to elect more pro-abortion leaders, and actually run ballot referendums. He's hardcore pro-abortion. J.B. Pritzker can't even stop Planned Parenthood. By the way, he's like a billionaire. Why did he just give him money? I don't know, but I should shut up because that'll give me ideas. They have a certain patient care landscape. They're in Illinois. You can get abortions there. Their governor loves abortion. Abortion. He wants everybody to fund abortion. What's uncertain about it? Maybe people are starting to wise up and not want to kill their babies. We've been on the ground for years in this neighborhood, one of the neighborhoods in Bloomington, where the Planned Parenthood shutting down, our campaign for abortion-free cities, our Illinois State Students for Life group. These students have participated in all kinds of activism, supporting the pregnancy health centers, educating their peers, legislative door knocking, praying in front of the abortion facility. This stuff matters. It works. And I know it's slow. And sometimes you don't see the immediate reaction or effect of our activities, but it works. And this is what it's proving, because even in the blue states, abortion facilities, Planned Parenthood, the mega abortion Goliath is shutting down. They're uncertain. They feel uncertain about their future. Now, I have a lot of ways and a lot of schemes that we can take the $700 million that we're currently giving Planned Parenthood federal taxpayer dollars and actually use it for real life-affirming providers, healthcare that actually helps poor women, redirecting it to the more than 8,000 federally qualified health centers that are out there that are actually serving men, women, and families every single day. There's a lot we can do, and I can't wait to have that discussion. I can't wait for it. Hey Project Jen, this is your show host, Kristan Hawkins, and I have an incredible opportunity for you to make a real impact for life this summer. On Saturday, June 28th, we're gathering on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. for the National Celebrate Life Weekend Rally, and you do not want to miss this event. We are going to host the nation's largest diaper drive, sponsored by the nation's only pro-life diaper brand, Every Life. Here's the goal. We want to bring together 392,715 diapers and scatter them on the lawn of the U.S. Capitol. One diaper for every baby that's been lost to abortion at Planned Parenthood in the last year. It's going to be extremely powerful. But instead of letting those diapers, just go to waste or letting these precious lives be forgotten, we want to turn that number into hope for moms and families in need in the Washington, D.C. area. So we're going to be giving them away after the massive rally and display. We are in a critical moment right now in the pro-life movement. Defunding Planned Parenthood is finally possible with the new Trump administration, but we're going to have to push harder than ever before to show why Planned Parenthood doesn't deserve a dime of their taxpayer dollars. And I believe this massive display on Capitol Hill will send a clear message to Republican leadership on Capitol Hill that Planned Parenthood must finally go fund themselves. The National Celebrate Life Weekend Rally is a completely free event. All you have to do is go to CelebrateLifeWeekend.org and sign up for the free rally. You can come stand with us, bring some diapers, and be a part of a historic moment and provide real help to struggling families in need. And if you can't make it to Washington, D.C., you can still join us and make a difference, because you can go to CelebrateLifeWeekend.com and donate to our diaper fund. Every dollar you donate will go to purchase at-cost diapers from Every Life that we will use at this display to tell Planned Parenthood they never should deserve any of our taxpayer dollars. Then those diapers will be given away to families in need. It's going to be amazing. This is our chance to show the nation, to show all of America, that the pro-life movement is about action. We're demanding action from our leaders on Capitol Hill to finally defund Planned Parenthood of our taxpayer dollars, and we're showing action that we love and care for more than the greedy abortion industry. So sign up now at CelebrateLifeWeekend.org. I'm going to conclude today with this. It's not time to do our victory lap yet. Planned Parenthood is closing some of its doors. Corruption is getting exposed. Awesome. The media is starting to finally wake up. I mean, the fact that the New York Times did an expose against their besties at Planned Parenthood, kind of huge. There are laws and court cases, like the Supreme Court case that we just heard over this, whether or not a state must be forced to use taxpayer Medicaid dollars to pay for abortions, which they shouldn't. It's, unconstitutional. There's real cases and laws going on to hold the abortion facilities, the abortion industry accountable, or to stop them in their predatory wake. But just as hard as we will work to stop Planned Parenthood and to shut them down, they will work to stay open. We have to continue our multi-pronged effort to not let up at any moment. Do not take your foot off the gas pedal. We are waging a war against big abortion. And I know I can count on each of you every step of the way to be there with us. So thank you. Thank you for joining this episode of the Kristan Hawkins Show, for listening to this conversation. I hope it has educated you, has given you some ideas for maybe what you can do in your community to fight back against the abortion industry and Planned Parenthood. If you want to hear from me daily on pro-life news, especially news about Planned Parenthood, join my personal text line. You can text the word Kristan, my name, to 53445. Until next week, keep speaking up for the voiceless, and let's make 2025 the year Planned Parenthood goes down.